Hello, 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 everyone. This is Lord Captain Commander Dunn, or B. Malachi Dunn, with my esteemed guests, Drake the Duelist and Blue.
Hello.
Hello.
Good to have you both. So I would. This is going to be an interesting type of stream today. Basically, it's going to be a call-in talk show where anybody who wants to can come on, read off their stuff, and kind of explain a little bit about their work and why they like writing, how they got into writing, stuff like that. It's like a mini showcase for them. How it's going to work is each person, I believe we have about got about 5, I believe. We have Yokai, I hope is going to be able to come on soon. We have your lovely self, Blue, and we have Neph Champion and Hex Harper. And I'll go last because I promised to read a very special section of one of my books. But I'm really excited to do this. Hello, Dr. Crow and Neph Champion.
Sorry, I was having a bit of technical difficulties.
Yeah, no problem. It's great to have you guys. So we seem to have a good crowd going. Hopefully they'll trickle together. Please share this out on any venues that you can think of, Discord, whichever. If anybody wants to eventually come onto the stream for or on their book or to advertise, we'll be having another one of these on next Sunday at the same time. Alrighty. So, how about who here feels comfortable reading their stuff? Just out of curiosity, just so that I know how this is going to work.
I've already.
I'll take that as a no. No, it's fine. It's totally fine. Is there a slight? Do I have a slight echo, or is this just me?
Yeah, you got an echo.
Oh.
I switched headphones, so not me anymore.
Oh.
It might have been me the last couple of times because I was using, I think it was a set of gaming headphones.
Oh, okay.
So.
Huh.
I don't think it should be coming through mine. Let me mute.
I don't know. I don't think so. I don't
Yeah,
think so.
no, I still hear it, so I don't think it was mine.
Okay.
No.
Huh.
That's odd.
It's very strange.
Okay, let's do that.
But yeah, as far as me, I'm fine reading stuff out loud, and but I don't know about reading my stuff out loud. That might get me in the nerves.
Okay. Okay. I'll. How about this? Would you be willing to read Neph Champion's stuff? And I'll read Neff's stuff.
Sure, if she's okay with that.
Yeah, I have no problem with it.
Ready?
Mm-hmm.
Ready?
Is it linked somewhere?
Or? I gave it You can go ahead and give the link. It's a read only, so no one can touch it.
Okay.
Done.
Yeah. Okay. I will put. How much of it do we want to read? Since I think like what we'll do is you can get like I think like let's give each person like 20 minutes. So that way we can end at about 2:30.
Okay.
I might stuff up for a couple of minutes while Blue is reading, but I will be back in a second. Is that okay?
Okay. Yeah,
I'll
that
hold
works.
down the fort.
Alrighty. Thank you, Drake, for being my co-host in this situation.
You're welcome.
Alrighty.
Oh, he sent me the link. Okay, sorry.
Yeah, no problem.
What I gave you is I have a program that reads stuff out loud. It doesn't have any inflection, which is kind of annoying, but the program reading it is only like 15 minutes long, so shouldn't
Okay.
have any problem reading at all.
And am I just sorry? I pulled it up and I'm looking at it, and maybe I'm just dumb. But is there a way to like? Is it just one page? Is there a way to go between pages? No, it says page 1 of 1.
Wait, what? Which one? Then which did you give her? I thought we were going over the second one I gave you on Thursday.
Yeah, it just says 1 and then has set up world magic rules, and that's all that's on
Yeah, no,
Oh,
not
so-
that one. That one.
Sorry, my bad. Sorry.
It's Illusions of Mastery, I believe, that we were going to be reading today.
Oh, Illusions of Mastery. Okay. Shoot, I'm sorry.
No, that's my outline we were going to go over, and you were going to help me with.
I'm sorry. I didn't realize. I forgot. I didn't look at it.
No, it's okay. It's okay.
I am sorry. That was me being a dingus. I am very sorry. Okay. Okay. Nation Salvation, was that one?
No, that's the original that I'm working on that we were also going to go over on Thursday. We were going to do two things.
Okay, I don't see any other links.
You don't see.
You told me a little bit about.
Wait. I think, I named it something different. I called the prologue, which is what we were going to be reading, Setting the Stage, because that's the title.
Okay.
Sorry.
It's on the forums, right? The thread forums.
I put it in our DMs.
The big group chat. Okay.
Yeah.
Alrighty, let me go up.
Also, Neph, if you have it pulled up, I'm in his Discord, so you could probably just DM it to me as well.
Okay.
If that's faster, I don't know.
Foreign space. Okay, setting the stage. Okay, got it. Okay, now I have it. Alrighty. Here you go, Blue. Here you go, Blue. There we go. Oh, nice. We got a good crowd here. I'm really excited. You guys are gonna
How
have
many
a good
people
audience.
do we have?
Currently, we've got 6. Which our current record crowd is about 12.
So we're already halfway there.
Yep, we're halfway there. Oh, it's up to 7. It was
nice.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, cool. If you feel the need to correct me on name pronunciation, feel free.
Alrighty. 1 second. I'm just going to mute myself.
It occurs
Okay.
to me Dun's on one side and I'm on the other. So if you look at it just horizontally, it's Dun and a goof. So Dun goof.
That's funny.
Okay, so I guess should I jump into it then?
Sure, you can. Go
All right.
ahead.
Okay.
Just ask. There are some Japanese names. I know how to pronounce them all. So
Yeah, I was gonna ask, is it Akihiko Kayaba?
yes.
Okay. Setting the stage, October 75, mid-Childa?
Yes.
Mid-Childan calendar. Akihiko Kayaba grimaced as he watched the destruction of the Saint Cradle and the arrest of his once colleague, Jael Scaglietti. That fool, he muttered to himself as he looked at his own research. It was a helmet that would cover most of the head when worn and had a glass visor that would be pulled down over the eyes. And while he still didn't have a name for the prototype, it was nearly finished. He returned his eyes to the screen showing the battle outside the Saint Cradle and frowned heavily. There was a chance that Scaglietti would point the finger at him to spread the misery. It probably would not even matter that it had been years since Kayaba had talked to the madman, much less worked with him on the same project. I should have known that Project F would have played a big part in this, he muttered to himself. Artificial mages, combat cyborgs, all of it left a foul taste in his mouth. Some good had come of it, such as Testarossa Harloan and Mandial, the boys she was looking after, as well as the Nakajima sisters. But the numbers, they were a real concern to the safety of Mid-Chalda as a whole, and Scaglietti even more so. Dealing with the mad scientist was going to be tricky, especially if the rumors he'd heard about the man's contingencies were true. That meant that the three aces would have to find a way to detain him without killing the man, even if outright killing the man was probably the right way to deal with the problem. If there were really clones inside the numbers, well, that made dealing with him difficult, if he noted already. Not impossible, thankfully, just difficult. They would have to watch the other prisoners too, depending on which prison they ended up putting him in. The double-A ranked mage sat at his desk, stroking his chin as he considered his options. He really needed to leave, but to bug out too quickly would make him look even more suspicious, and thus draw attention to him. So he would have to be slow and methodical in his withdrawal from Mid-Childa. He was not going to be in splash damage range to this whole debacle. Now, where should he go lay low for a while? A planet that has a low population of mages would work. One of the unadministered worlds would probably be the best choice. Akihiko's eyes were drawn to the figure of the Ace of Aces. Didn't she come from a world that does not produce mages very often? He asked himself. Yes, he was remembering that correctly. She, her friend Yagami, and now a retired admiral, came from the same planet. As long as he didn't use magic out in the open, he'd be fine in the end. So it looked like he was headed to unadministered planet number 97. He should learn the local name, it'd help him fit in. December 2015, Tokyo, Japan, terrestrial calendar. Standing on the roof of one of the high-rises, Akihiko Kayaba looked out over the city that would be his new home. It had taken a bit of work to forge records that wouldn't attract suspicion, as well as create a document and record trail establishing him in Japan that would stand up to official scrutiny, especially as quickly as he had managed it. He was pretty sure that the Bureau of Branch here on Earth had helped with that, and he wasn't sure how he felt about the fact. Akihiko shook the depressing thoughts out of his head. He should not be thinking about such things when his new life was about to begin. He had enough money to rent an apartment for a month, but he needed a job if he wanted to keep that roof over his head. As a double-A ranked mage, she was very good at magic, and the basic of magic, the Belkan and Mid-Childan style, was mathematics. Akihiko was certain he'd be able to find something that was both well-played and interesting, something creative. He needed something to occupy his days. Perhaps game design? Yes, that sounded very interesting. August 2022, Japan, Tokyo. Akihiko Kayaba watched the feed from his computer, watched as each of the beta testers did their best to break illusion mastery online. He was sure that they would not be able to, but every bug they found was one that he could and did fix. It had been 7 years since his arrival here on unadministered planet number 97, and he had enjoyed every minute of it. He'd been right. Game design wasn't just interesting, it was fun. And before he'd even known what he was doing, he'd made a game in the image of the lost Logia he'd been studying back on Mid-Childa. How had that even happened? Well, no matter how his employer had given him the green light to turn it into a full game. And since it was based off of Lost Logia, that was supposedly a huge ancient Belkin or AI
Alhazard. Yes.
Alhazard training facility. He might as well go for broke and design a game full of magical wonders, where a device of their own grasp of magic dictated how far a person could go. He was also curious about the unadministered worlds that he now called home. He knew just from a general search before he'd left Mid-Childa that strong mages were rare. So his question was how rare or common mages in general were. Before unveiling his device, no, the nerve gear, that was his name, what he decided to call it. Before unveiling his masterpiece, on the hardware side anyway, he'd modified it slightly. Now, when someone put the helmet on and did a quick scan of the body, trying to detect the linker core, no matter how weak it might be. He tried the modification on himself, and it had worked. Granted, it was likely that every potential mage he found would hardly be worth the time to train them, but he was curious. There was no harm in seeing how many he could find. Akihiko stood from his seat and locked his office door. Then he pressed a key on his computer, which would start a loop on the camera in the room. Once he was sure that he would not be discovered, Kayaba brought up his holographic display and brought up the data he'd collected on the beta testers of Illusion Mastery Online. As he thought, not all of them had linker cores. And of those that did, there were maybe 1 or 2 in his sample size of thousands that had linker cores that rated higher than E rank. It wasn't as if he was looking to actually train anyone, so the data was useless to him, outside of satisfying his own curiosity. The one he found most promising was Kirito. He had no knowledge but what he'd figured out in Illusion Mastery Online, and the nerve gear he'd received when he'd been given the beta version to test, said that Kirito had the potential of a green D ranked mage of the same age at the beginning of training. If this had been Mid-Childa, the boy would have received training regardless of whether it was standard civilian training or training by the Bureau or the Saint Church. An untrained mage in a mana-rich environment was a danger to himself and others. Earth was not a mana-rich world. It explained why only a handful of mages, powerful ones at that, had been discovered on this world. The Bureau would not have dismissed the possibility that there were other potential mages on this world, but Earth was an out-of-the-way, unadministered world. His adopted home was a mana-poor one at that. It would take more effort and resources than it was practical. He could appreciate the logistics. Saint New game design made him appreciate those all the more. Idly, he wondered how many mages on this planet were as powerful as Kirito. Takamachi and Yagami were freaks of nature compared to the results he was getting from the nerve gear. And with such a mana-poor environment and no way of training themselves, it was exceedingly unlikely that they could make themselves know it all, which was a pity. Kirito alone out of his first sample size, which his ingenuity had proven that it would have been worth the time to teach him. Scrya probably had no idea how lucky he had gotten when he'd crash-landed and had Takamachi dropped in his lap. Then again, perhaps he did, if only because stumbling on the untapped potential Takamachi would have had at her age would have been considered extremely lucky, even on Mid-Childa. Kayaba dismissed the display and unlocked his office door. Now that he was done with magic, for the moment, he could let others in, if needed. It was better not to reveal to the world at large that magic existed. It was too bad that Kirito and all the others like him lived on a world with such poor mana saturation. A waste. The closed beta for Illusion Mastery Online would be coming to a close in a few days, and most of them had already pre-ordered a digital copy of the game, Kirito included. And while he'd have been much happier if the beta testers had climbed higher up the castle, well, there wasn't very much he could do to make them work together as squads. This was just a game after all, not the training simulator it was based on. Kayaba knew that he was looking forward to playing the game himself. It was only a few short months away. How many more mages would he find in the 10,000 players of Illusion Mastery Online? How many of them would be worth going to the discrete branch of the Bureau had on this world to turn in his data? Most likely, not enough. Not nearly enough. And Finn.
I'm very proud of that chapter, actually.
Yeah, it was neat. I don't know. Yeah. Okay, so it is Drake the Duelist that's Mike is echoing. Wait, is it? I don't know. Okay, let's try again. Yeah, no, it's not.
I'm toggling it, trying to isolate it.
Oh, Neph, it's you. Your icon lit up when he talked.
What? No, I'm not using the same earphones that I was using before.
Oh, I don't know then. Oh well.
I don't know.
You need a private technical stream just to sort this out.
Yep.
Let's see. No,
Dr.
I'm not
Crow's
using a
inspiration.
speaker. No, I'm not using a speaker. I'm using a set of headphones. So, sorry, Dr. Crow, I really don't think it's me.
Well, who was muted there at the end because it stopped echoing for like the last page and a half.
I don't know. Hang on, let me see.
You might have a dual channel thing going on, like it's projecting from multiple sources at once.
I mean, I think if we just all mute whenever somebody's work is being read, it should be fine. I don't think it's that big of a deal when we're like all talking, but
That's what I do.
is done back yet? I don't think he is.
Stream takeover? No. Probably better just move on to next person. So, Blue Red Neph. So Neph reads blues.
If she's comfortable with that, I'm fine with that.
Okay, let's get the show on the road.
She hasn't answered yet whether she is, though. I don't want to put her on the spot. If she's not, Drake, are you able to read it?
Sure.
Okay. I'm assuming on Discord you're Captain Drake. In Dunn's Discord.
Okay, got it. Go ahead and send it to me, and I'll get started reading.
Okay. There you go.
All right, so what am I getting into here? Is this original?
Yes,
or
this is the first chapter of something I wrote a while back. Lately, I've been writing a lot of comic scripts, and I don't. Obviously, that's not really something I can read out loud and share here because it's not the right medium. But I have something that's in a very similar vein and tone, so I figured I would send the first chapter of that so people can get an idea of what my writing feels like, I guess. Oh wait, I think I just sent you the wrong thing.
Hello, and I'm back.
Welcome back, Don.
Yeah, I just had to put in some ribs into the oven.
Where is okay.
Yeah, that wasn't the right thing.
I just realized I just sent you the one I just read.
Okay.
Although now that Dun's back, if he wants to read it, that's fine too. Whatever's clever.
Oh, sure. Let me see. Just barely got a couple of messages that I need to check. Okay, let me see. So yeah, I can read. Oh, Neph is mute. Is Neph muted, or is Neph doing okay?
Yeah, her mic was having some issues. I think she's trying to figure it out.
Oh, okay, I see. Yeah, I'll just read hers, or no, I'll read yours real quick. I'll just scroll back up to yours. The Traitors Dragon, right?
Yes.
I like it. It's a good title.
Thank you.
How did you come up with the idea for it while I'm getting it pulled up? What was your inspiration?
A little bit, I think, which actually I think Neff had sort of said recently too. I was getting just tired of seeing like the Fae being portrayed in a very cookie cutter Disney way. So I wanted to create a world where the Fae were kind of badass and and there's dragons and all that mixed along in it. So
you should totally read the Artemis Fowl books.
I have, yeah. I
Oh, you
definitely
have?
liked those a lot as a kid.
Oh, I'm sad. One of these days we gotta have a actual full Artemis Fowl show with all of the book fans.
Yeah.
where we all watch the movie together and
oh goodness.
yeah, that movie was bad.
And it's been so long since I've read them. I think I started reading them in like 4th grade, so I'm not even sure I would know what on like a technical level is different. But I mean, I feel like it's pretty obvious what tonally is incorrect.
Oh, there's some bad things. Oh, there's some really bad things, like even like Julius, like Mulch not knowing Julia Root's name.
Yeah.
Like,
interesting.
Like annoying little things like that, and then like Artemis, like the troll fight, not even having the suit of armor.
Yeah. I've watched a couple of your streams on it, so it definitely seems like they dropped the ball just a bit.
Oh, I was thinking drop the ball is an understatement. Alrighty. The Traitors Dragon by Blue. Trell broke through the blanket of darkness and stepped into the torchlight. The rumor that had drawn her into the woods was bound in front of her by large chains, and so she had conceded that it wasn't a rumor after all. Metal rods speared its leather wings to the ground, and even subdued as he was, his hulking figure still dwarfed the surrounding trees. The hushed whispers of the men in the camp hadn't done the dragon justice. The air trembled with the creature's low, angry growls. The flat black of its scales swallowed all of the light. The dragon glared at her, and she shrank back. She searched its eyes for any hint of fear she would have felt if confined in such a way. But all she found is deep gold old irises were seas of rage. Smoke seeped through the cracks of the dragon's restrained jaws, and the air around Trell began to heat. The smell of sulfur filled her nostrils. The dragon thrashed hard against his chains. The sound of clanging metal ripped through the clearing. Trell's heart accelerated. Every instinct she possessed begged her to run. As sturdy as the chains appeared, it felt foolish to believe something man-made could restrain a beast like this. He would break free through sheer force of will, if nothing else. And she didn't want to be there either and he did. The leaves littering the trail back to camp crushed under her boots. Time and distance were beginning to numb her terror. What had gotten into her? Her commanders wouldn't have brought something so dangerous near the camp if they weren't sure they could restrain it. Trell looked up at the soft moonlight filtering through the leaves and let it soothe her tattered nerves. She liked the moon. It wasn't as boastful as the sun, and it hadn't once burned her. Trell closed her eyes for a moment and breathed in the crisp night air. The tension she carried in her shoulders flowed out of her as she exhaled. The odor of camp assaulted her nose as before she could even see the long rows of tents. The pungent aroma that came from lumping humans together for extended periods of time wasn't something she'd ever grow accustomed to. Trell tried to keep her footsteps silent. Sneaking back into camp so late would cause her trouble. She ran into the wrong commanding officer. She chose a back way into camp to diminish her odds of running into anyone else. She approached the narrow spot she had on several occasions used to slip unnoticed between two large tents and then cursed her bad luck. The spot was now occupied by an iron cage with thick bars. Trell approached the cage cautiously. A small, fey girl huddled in the corner, asleep. Trell stumbled backwards in shock and cursed under her breath when she heard a branch snap under her heel. She waited to see if anyone would emerge from the tent to investigate the noise, but no one did. Her attention returned to the fey girl. The fey didn't look like she could be any older than 10, although if the maids had any of the stories right, she was older than Trell could imagine. Cuts and bruises covered every inch of the fey's skin. Dried blood ached her clothing and hair. Gaping tears interrupted the shimmering pattern of her wings. Reaching down out and through the bars, Trell brushed a piece of hair out of the fey girl's face. Every account she'd ever heard or read said that the fey were dangerous, but the creature in front of her looked little more than a helpless child. A hand grasped Trell's shoulder. She jerked free and turned to see a tall man standing behind her. His calm voice filled the space between them. I know what she looks like, and it's hard to wrap around at first, but she's not really a child. Trell searched his face for any hint that he was upset by finding her out of her tent, but found none. Yes, I know. I read about the Fae when I was younger. Reading is one thing, seeing is another. You do not have to pretend that seeing what you perceive to be a child in this condition does not upset you. It's intended to. It is perhaps their greatest weapon against us. Many people have hesitated in battle upon seeing a child's face. Plenty of people have died because of that mistake. He regarded her for a moment before continuing. I've seen you on the training grounds. Seems fighting may not be your forte. I suppose so. Trell tried not to let her pride collapse too much under the weight of his casual and unarguably correct observation. Well, I'm pleased to make your acquaintance. My name is Matthias, the lead healer stationed in camp. Since you're here, would you mind assisting me for the evening? Trell blinked, momentarily surprised by the request. Of course. How can I help? I need to dress her wounds. I intended to do it on my own, but a second pair of hands never hurts. You're healing her? Why? Nothing Trell knew about war led her to believe that people wasted medicine on their enemies. Simply put, it's difficult to extract useful information from the dead. Trell inspected the Fey wounds again. The new context brought to light an important detail about the Fey's condition she managed to miss before. The cuts were small and deliberate. The wounds weren't from battle. They were torturing her. Matthias cleared his throat. I know it's unpleasant. You don't have to help me if you do not wish to. My job is to heal, so that is what I will do. You are free to return to your tent for the night if you like. How can I help? Matthias handed her a bowl of hot water with a rag. Clean the skin around the cuts and then I'll apply the salve and bandages. Trell washed the Fae's wounds as gently as she could. The blood made her stomach turn at first, but the longer she worked, the less it affected her. They worked for a long time in silence until Matthias interrupted with a question. Where did you get that? Trell followed Matthias's gaze to the pendant hanging from around her neck. The fact that he'd ask at all implied that he'd recognize the symbol. How much could she say without sounding boastful? It was a gift from a friend. Matthias raised his eyebrow. Very powerful friend. I would endeavor to keep that hidden if I were you. I need more salve. I'll be back shortly. Matthias walked away and Trell traced the flower design on the round pendant with her finger. Princess Ilia gave her the pendant before sending her here. Why would Matthias advise her to hide it? Surely it was a good thing to carry a crown of the crown's favor, wasn't it? Without warning, the Fae's hand shot up and seized Trell's wrist. The Fae's frantic eyes found Trell's. Her eyes were large, round, and so dark that Trell couldn't tell if she even had pupils. The Fae struggled to push words through chapped lips. Travestial, I have a message. She has a message for you. A glint of green appeared in the darkest reaches of the Fae's eyes and swirled around and into itself. Then the light reached out, wrapped itself around Trell, and pulled her into the dark depths of the Fae's eyes. Trell clung to the light for fear of drowning and became transfixed by its motion. It writhed and convulsed until all at once it began to form shapes that Trell could recognize. It shifted between the figure of a beautiful woman and a tall oak tree, refusing to settle on one image completely. Words invaded every corner of Trell's mind. I have seen your end, and mine. I cannot break the ties that now link our fates. When the time comes, when the branch shakes, let go. When the last word faded, so did the green light. Thrust out of darkness, Trell blinked at the Fae girl still clutching her wrist. The Fae's gaze moved to the pendant around Trell's neck. The creature's jaw clenched as she tightened her grip. Yelling rose in the camp around them, but Trell had her eyes locked firmly on the Fae's. She smelled smoke and oak as the voices shifting from yelling to screaming. The flames of the burning camp writhed in the Fae's eyes. A loud roar drowned out all other noise, and they shook the camp. The dragon's chains had broken.
So that's that.
Nice.
Nice.
Thank you.
Nice. That was really good. That's a very good introduction. I like it.
Oh, good. I'm glad. Thank you.
Yeah. I think that you definitely give a sense of good mystery there. You definitely have like a solid, likable character in the form of Trell. Is this like just the beginning of your book, or is there a little bit more before this?
I had written a little bit more before this, but there were a couple people that had beta read this a while back and said that they found it unnecessary, basically, that they thought it was better just jumping straight into meeting the dragon. So
I think one thing that I would kind of say, just in terms of like a slight bit of feedback, is just kind of giving some more like discussion of why the army's there and stuff, like just little bits and pieces here and there. That's kind of the only thing I would say, since the only thing I would say that like I wanted to know more about is kind of like, okay, why is Trell here exactly? Like,
Right.
what exactly is this thing? I'd like a little bit of context.
Right. And being that, just as a question, being that it is like chapter 1 of something, would you as a reader still be satisfied if those explanations were later on, or do you think that needs to be up front?
I would say that kind of just a little bit of like, I guess to use a film example, like an aerial shot, and like a little bit of setup, like going into the camp, almost like we're going in like on a sweeping aerial shot,
Okay.
and kind of you can kind of say like just the forest of such and such, describe the surroundings, and then like metaphorically pan down into the camp to or wherever Trell is.
Okay.
Since I think that that's the easiest and simplest thing to do. Uh, I don't particularly like telling people to like change things like arbitrarily, but I think the I think like all I would like to have is just a tiny bit of context, maybe like a paragraph or two at the beginning, and then we can kind of see where we're at. I guess
Yeah.
we can.
Well, later on, I might send you what I had at the beginning before that I ended up cutting, and see if that kind of fills in what you're suggesting, you know?
Yeah, I think that'd be great. I'm excited. I had to see more of your stuff.
Thank you.
Yeah, it seems as though our poor Neph is having some technical difficulties, unfortunately. I don't know if Yokai is going to be around. He seems like he's vanished. Let me see. Is there? I'm hoping to kind of delay for Hex Harper, so I'll just probably start reading my stuff first. That way he can have some time to read, time to come on and read his stuff. Let me pull it up. So this is Tempest of Shadows. Since I did some research, and apparently the titles Storm of Shadows and Shadow of Storms are all titles that have been taken by crappy romance novels that I cannot use, and it's just like, darn you, other people. Yeah.
It's always the romance novels too, isn't it?
Yeah. Or maybe it's even like the it's like or like low grade like romance fantasy, or just obscure fantasy that I'd never heard of, like assassin fantasy or whatever. So what got you into writing Blue, just like as like an initial like the thing that got you interested?
Honestly, it was just kind of one of those things that I always did, like to varying extents, but I mean, I was one of those kids that learned to read pretty fast, and you know how it is when you're a kid where if you're good at something, everyone kind of like makes a huge deal about it. So so I was like, oh, the grown-ups like that I'm a good reader, I'll start writing stuff. And so, you know, basically I was just being a little teacher's pet and writing all the time because of that. And then eventually it took on a more personal note when I got into theater, because I really enjoyed playwriting. So
Oh, okay. So you like playwriting? That's cool.
yeah, it's one of those things that I don't super duper know what to do with, since stage, I don't know, theater
Yes.
as far as on stage is not as popular as it once was, we'll put it that way.
Yeah, definitely not with the current situation. Yeah.
But I think that's why I kind of got interested in maybe trying to write for comics, because as far as being a more visual medium, it does share some characteristics, you know? So
Mm-hmm. like in terms of like you have the stage direction versus the panels on a comic to help you out.
Right.
Yeah.
Iso.
Okay. Yeah, I took a oh, hello Zofrats. It's Market 3D. D. D. Oh, that's interesting. I hope that I'll be able to be able to hopefully we'll be able to do some stuff that sticks. Market 3D. 3D. So
And
lovely.
also,
Oh,
I
go
don't
for it.
know. I don't know how the chat feels about it, but since the mic situation, I know there was a lot of kickback and echo when I was reading Neph's stuff. So I don't know if maybe now that you're back, if the chat would be okay with hearing her stuff again, so that they can hear it a little bit cleaner. Since we're
Sure.
trying to fill time anyway.
Oh my goodness. Everybody wants Net Zofrats to get at the ranch.
She is wrenched everywhere, so you know. It's only.
Why not? I trust. Why not? I trust her. Okay, how do I do this? Let me see. Let me see. How do I give her the wrench? Let me see. Okay. Okay, Neph is restarting her computer. All the wrenches.
What do you mean by the wrench?
Mod wrench. Add. Okay. And it. I don't know. I don't know how to.
In the YouTube chat, you should just be able to right-click on her name, and there should be an add mod or something like that. Yeah, that's what Dr. Crow said.
Okay. Okay, cool. Tech books more than fiction. That makes sense. It's Market 3D. Yeah, I quite like instruction manuals. Just like I find them interesting. Let me see. Alrighty, Zofrats. You now have gained the wrench. There you go. Yep. You are welcome. Now have, and it looks like we've got a good crowd. We got about 8 people. That's good. So would you guys be willing for me to read out Neph's stuff again? Was that fine? We only have about 45 minutes. So I think Hex Harper should be coming on in a little bit. Hopefully he'll be able to. Oh dear, technical difficulties behind the stage. That's unfortunate. Maybe as opposed to reading a like a longer section. I've done a couple of action things, so I think that what I'll do today is kind of more of I'll just read a little bit of a dialogue scene from Tempest of Shadow. It's actually the aftermath of the scene I read yesterday. So,
could you remind us basically what happened briefly in that scene?
Okay, so what happened was oh, did you accidentally leave the stream?
Yeah, sometimes I have 2 monitors, and sometimes when I'm clicking between them, it just decides to kick me out of Streamlabs. Sorry.
Oh no, you're fine. That's totally fine. I just barely noticed. Yeah, no problem. So what happened was a young lady named Rayla abruptly had her town attacked by a bunch of by the antagonists of the series. I'm toying with the name Exalted for them. And what happened was she was about to get taken away by these people, and then another voice opened up inside of her head and allowed her to use magic. And then she began killing people with her magic, and the voice controlled her. And so this is kind of the aftermath. I was going to read a little bit of where she uses a different kind of magic, but I think what I'm going to do with this one is just kind of share what happened to her afterward and kind of show off a little bit of dialogue writing. Okay. Rayla huddled in the basement of a ruined house, clutching her knees to herself. Those lights were still on the back of her head, shining their terrible light. "It's all right, child," the voice in her head said comfortingly. "The fighting seems to be over." "Go away," Rayla snapped at the voice. "You're not real." "Actually, I am, and being insulting to me isn't going to change anything," the voice remarked, voice still cool. "In fact, a little gratitude would be nice. I did save you, after all. What is your name?" "Mine is Maria." "You've damned me," Rayla whispered, clutching her legs more tightly to herself. "I shouldn't have done what I did. I've lost my soul." "Poppycock," the voice sniffed. "Absolute rot. Superstitious nonsense brought about by primitive people. The source is neither good nor evil. Besides, one cannot lose what one does not have. People have been destroyed by the source," Rayla countered, ignoring the comment about the soul. "How could a soul not exist? How are people to govern themselves without a soul? It's evil." "Evil is a very simplistic term as applied to anything," Maria remarked coolly. "The people using it are choosing to use it for atrocious reasons. Simply calling them evil displays a lack of empathy." "Says the person who claims that there is no such thing as a soul," Rayla snapped back. "There is no evidence for the existence of a soul, child," the voice said, tone somewhat condescending. "People have tried and tried to make the claim that there is one, but all we are is a group of animals given sentience. Our minds are what make us different, and our ability to use the source. Those are what make us human. So there isn't anything spiritual to use the source?" Rayla found herself growing somewhat interested, despite herself. "Of course there isn't," the voice remarked. "The ability to use the source is a trait found in roughly a quarter of the population. I imagine that this place might even have a higher percentage due to the bottleneck effect. But I'd have to do a study to really get a handle on the phenomena. Honestly, what do they teach you in universities these days? Herblore? Stargazing? Tarot cards?" All of the words were invested with a boatload of scorn and contempt. "What's a university?" Rayla asked. Maria paused. "You're joking," she said finally. "You don't have universities in this day and age?" She sounded shocked and appalled. "No wonder you believe so much superstitious nonsense. No proper education at all." I've had an education," Rayla said defensively. "I know how to plow a field, know how to shoot, know how to shoe a horse." "Oh no." Rayla got the impression of someone rubbing her temples from the voice. "I'm stuck in the head of a farm girl. This is what insanity feels like. If I believed in hell, I'd think that was where I was." "You're a really blasphemous person," Rayla snapped at the voice. "I'm stating the facts as I see them," Maria snapped back. "Who are you?" Rayla asked, thoroughly confused by the voice's word choice. Bottleneck effect? Phenomena? University? It made no sense to her. My name is Maria Aranel, the voice remarked. I am a scientist. She trailed off slowly. I died a very long time ago, she whispered, sounding shocked. How am I here? Why am I trapped inside your head with access to you, or ability to use the source inside you? It makes no sense. And all 3 power sources in your mind? What are the other 2, and where do they come from? You should only be able to use Isissa, not Cyrus, and that power. The voice seemed to shiver, though Rayla couldn't tell how she knew that. Maybe your soul and mine have been combined, Rayla suggested wryly. Maybe I'm you, reborn. There is no evidence for reincarnation, the voice insisted. That's it. That must be why you have access to all 3 powers. Male, female, and the alien source. And that explains why I can't remember anything after the creature burst free and tried to destroy the world. She paused. But I died. And now I'm alive, in your head, without a body. Abruptly, she started hyperventilating. If I'm dead, that means everything I've ever thought about the nature of life is totally false. What am I? Why am I here? What you said doesn't seem to contradict what I said, Rayla said remarked smugly, trying to figure out what the voice was saying. So many of the words Maria was using made sense in terms of the definition, but how she used them made as little sense to Rayla as if she were speaking gobbledygook. I dismissed what you said out of habit because I automatically reject anything that reeks of superstition, Maria said primly. My hypothesis had actual scientific basis, but that was before this. Now I can't really dispute that idea anymore. Where are we exactly? I can see through your eyes, but I can't access your memory banks. Thank goodness, Rayla thought, shuddering at the thought. We're in Randon Valley, far to the north. Randon Valley, Maria tasted the word. Interesting. I haven't heard about that place. I think there used to be a memorial in the north honoring the champion's sacrifice. I wonder, how long has it been since the experiment? The experiment? Rayla asked. The experiment to gain access to the 3rd power, Rayla remarked. How long has it been? Rayla thought for a moment. About 700 years. Oh. Maria's voice was somewhat deflated. So long. Rayla swallowed and glanced around. Can you leave me alone, please? Of course, Maria said. I have some things I need to think about. Abruptly, she vanished. Sighing, Rayla leaned against the wall, then started when she heard 2 people yelling, Rayla, where are you? Alia's voice. She could be in one of these burned buildings. Damon was with her, voice rising. Malia's steps quickened. She could be injured, or dead. Abruptly, she burst into the building and glanced around. Why was Mal wearing her father's hat? Rayla! She yelled, rushing over to Rayla and taking her in his arm. I was so scared. I... Rayla breathed in and out slowly. We heard about what happened in the inn.
Yeah, that works better, actually. Okay.
Yep.
Now then.
We heard about what happened in the inn. Damon crouched next to them, looking into Rayla's eyes. She shrank back from them, shame curdling in her stomach. However, Alia held her tighter and gently moved Rayla's head to rest on her shoulder. It's all right, Malia whispered. It's going to be all right. Rayla looked up at her friends and swallowed. You're not scared of me? She asked, the flood of emotion she'd been holding down for hours bubbling to the surface. You're my friend, and that's all that matters. Malia's embrace tightened. The fact that you're a source user doesn't make any difference to me, she said, and intensely. Comfortingly, Damon put his hand on her shoulder. Ryla, he said intently, you saved those people from getting kidnapped. How you did it is irrelevant. Tell that to my dad, Rayla whispered, turning her head into Malia's shoulder. You should have seen how he looked at me. It was horrible, like I was some kind of monster. You're my friend, Malia insisted. That won't change. Damon nodded firmly. The only reason I'm standing here is because Moran healed me, he put in. Maybe he can help you with that. No, she whispered. I can't do it again. Just can't. Malia squeezed her comfortingly. Whatever you want, she said, voice encouraging. We're with you on whatever your decision is. There we go.
That was good. Oh, are you still?
Oh, yeah. No, I'm finished.
Okay.
I'm just catching my breath.
Yeah, no, that's
Okay, I
good.
wasn't sure if it was like a dramatic sigh because
Right,
the character
exactly.
was dramatically sighing.
Sorry.
Again, I think.
Hi.
Hi,
Welcome
Neph.
back.
Welcome back, Neph.
Thank you.
So what did you think? How was that?
It sounded kind of like a video game tutorial. It's like, after like the first fight that you do, and then afterwards you finally get that cooldown time to go over just what exactly you did. That's what that kind of sounded like.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, I loved your characters. They're all very charming.
Oh, thank you.
You're
Yeah,
welcome.
they're very different. Like I very much tried to give the Maria kind of a Tandy Newton style attitude, because like that's who I based her off of.
Yeah, there's a lot of variety and they play off each other nicely. It's great.
Chanthorpe, no, this is not a religious novel. This is just a in-world religion. This place is very much cut off from magic, and they believe that using magic is evil and slowly turns you terrible. It's definitely not in this world. This is a regular fantasy world that I created, so don't worry.
Is it like a medieval fantasy? Because that's fine.
Yep.
That song sounds like they're from our time.
Oh, really? That's interesting. So it's kind of more of a like mixed bit. There's a Renaissance-esque area, which is this place that doesn't have high technology. Then there's the past, which is very high tech. Then there's sections that are like steampunk-esque, and then there's still futuristic places.
So the past was high tech and it got ruined, and now we're back to medieval periods.
Yeah,
like the old. I don't know what the Third World War will be fought with, but I know the fourth one will be fought with 6.
Yeah. Thankfully, like the backlash wasn't as bad. So thankfully, there are areas that do have relatively high tech. It's just that there are much of the magic helps the tech, and the places that don't have magic are lower tech than places that do have it. And there are a lot of people in the south areas that are between the free cities and the places in the north where the tech is like futuristic. They've got like elevators, they've got cars, they've got fire extinguishers that just suck the fire into it. A lot of interesting stuff in there that I was able to play around with.
That's
So is
interesting.
that technology rarer in some areas of the world than others?
Well, magic is actually now more common because one of the things that the bad guys were doing for roughly like 600 years was, and are still doing in the areas where they control, are eugenics camps, where they are specifically breeding more magic users into the population by having carefully organized and regimented breeding programs.
That sounds very interesting, actually. I want to read more of that. I want to read it. Is it something you've already
I'm
published, or do I have to wait for it?
I'm hyping it up. I have not yet published it. I will read more of it at some point, probably next week. There's a specific scene that I'm working on, but I'm working on kind of editing it. And I actually might just publish that next, probably sometime in the middle of, probably in like 2 or 3 weeks, probably. And then it'll be Blood of the Dragon, which is the sequel to my Dragonlord Annals, book 1, The Young Dragonlord. I have roughly like 3 manuscripts that are like finished with the first draft. I know I'm going to be putting in some stuff into War of the Dragons so that it's nice and coherent with the rest of the narrative, and will kind of flow better into the third one. Dr. Crow. That's funny. I'm glad. I wonder if Hex Harper is still coming around. I hope he is. How about I read the second thing at Neph's, and then what we can do is kind of just wait for Drake the Duelist. No, not Drake the Duelist. Hex Harper, sorry. And we'll just see what happens. Since I'll have to step off at 2:30, and it'll probably he's still off Discord. That's unfortunate. I'll just read Neph's second thing, and then probably we'll have to close the stream off unless somebody else would like to come on. Let me quickly post the link in my Discord. In my okay, let me see. Oh, nice. X Harper is on. Sweet. Okay, cool. I think he should be already. Okay. Let's see. Alrighty. Whenever you want to come on, Hex Harper, we are ready for you. Alrighty, I just barely sent him the invite, and so he should be on in a little bit, hopefully. Okay. But yeah, I will be. I'm hoping to publish like somewhere around five more books this summer between now and August, and Tempest of Shadow will be one of them. I think it's probably going to be the next one.
Yeah, I was curious actually, to keep up that kind of schedule, how many words do you write a day on average?
I've been writing about 1,500 words ish for the past year.
Wow.
That's some dedication.
I mean, some days I know I do a whole lot more than that a day, but that's actually pretty good.
Yeah.
About how much do you find you keep after editing?
I keep most of it generally. I don't go in for flab. I much prefer to kind of keep it very streamlined, and I try to keep like each little bit moving into the next bit and try and keep up some good pace.
Yeah.
Okay.
The current book that I just read you is like 86.5K words. So,
Wow.
and then the War of the Dragon is currently looking to be about 65K words. It's currently at 60K. Then I think Wrath of the Dragon is currently like 150 pages currently, including the notes and unfinished scenes that I've written.
Huh. That's
Nice.
And then I've got like pretty big books that I've finished, that I've almost finished, Queen of Spring and the Ashbringer Queen. Let me see.
Oh my god.
Okay. But yeah, I try to write quite a bit. I think Queen of Spring is somewhere around. Oh, it seems like Hex Harper has vanished from the internet.
Oh dear. Hate it when that happens.
Yeah. I don't know. I hope that I try to have like a good amount of writing. I haven't done much writing of late. I'm just using up my 20 hours, correct? Hours of streaming. So, right now, including today, it's like 15 hours out of 20. So that'll give Dr. Crow like an hour and a half to 2 hours. Oh, Dr. Crow, you have something you would like to read? If you want to come on and use the last 18 minutes, please come on. Yeah. Sweet. That's fine. If you want to share the screen, I can allow you to read it out. And okay, that's not connected. Oh, there you go. Here's Dr. Crow.
Hello, Dr. Crow.
Hi, Crow.
All right, there we go. Hi, how y'all doing?
Hey.
So it is a comic strip or a comic strip. It's comic script. Is that okay?
Yeah, no problem. Go for it.
All right. I'm trying to pull it out here.
Okay.
There we go. Now, do you mind if I share it into the Discord or?
Yeah. Do you want me to read it, or are you going to?
I would prefer you read it. I'm not very good at reading it loud.
Okay, sure. Oh, Dr. Crow and am I going to be reading hentai fanfic?
No, it's not hentai fanfic.
What a shame.
I joke. Alrighty,
Just
okay.
throw it into the Discord.
Oh, is it just the outline idea?
No, it is not. It shouldn't be. Oh man, I've sent you the wrong thing. Damn it.
Yeah. No, it's fine. It's fine. Crap happens. It's fine.
There we go.
You doing okay over there, Neph? How's the mic doing?
Let me make
Oh, it's much better now that I've restarted my computer.
Oh, I imagine it is.
Yeah, I don't know why I lost it before. So
Yeah.
Yeah, this is the correct thing. I want to make sure that one thing. There we go. Sorry. Oh boy.
oh dear. So frats.
Bad Zofrats. Bad. To the naughty corner with you.
Squirt bottle.
No, I say we give her a point for hilarity.
yes.
The mods aren't supposed to make lewd comments.
Why?
Because they were supposed to be the ones policing the chat. That's why.
There are no
Exactly.
fun
That's why they have
Watches
to
the
make them.
Watchmen.
'Cause everyone else will be too afraid.
Well, the thing is, we have.
So frats. oh wait.
We love you, you feisty Danish lady.
Yeah.
Yes, we do.
We love the Danish and their cheese.
I don't like cheese except on pizza. My dad has a cheese fest thing that he does.
I did send the actual thing this time.
Alrighty. Aces and Eights. Written and lettered by Dr. Crow. Art by Zofrats. Page 1. Panel 1. Establishing shot of a casino showroom. Hostages being held at gunpoint by bunny girl henchmen. BG1. Stay on the ground and no one gets hurt. Panel 2. Draw out walks in the front door. Guns drawn. BG2. He's here. Panel 3. Draw out and bunny girls under a fire. SFX. Bang. Panel 4. The bunny girls are disarmed by gunshots. SFX. Bang, bang. Panel 5. Draw out standing over them. Gun smoking. Draw out. Where's your boss? Page 2. Panel 1. Dr. Alpha sitting at a blackjack table. More but a henchman sitting right. Henchman flocking around him. Flanking the table is another bunny burl and the gunny boy. Guns aimed at the door. Dr. Alpha, look who decided to show up. You're late. Panel 2. Draw out walks up to the table. One of the girls serving him a drink on the table. Draw out. You're supposed to be Dr. Alpha? The one and only. You must be the local superhero. Draw out. Overshot. Panel 3. Overshot of the two at the table. One of the girls lighting up Dr. Alpha's cigarettes. The other holding a tray with a drink on it. That is me. I suppose it's too much to ask for you to just give up. Dr. Alpha. Where is the fun in that? We are in a casino. So how about we bet? You win all the chips, I turn myself in and let the hostages go. I win the chips, I walk out of here with all the cash. Panel. Draw out looks at Dr. Alpha confused, hand ready for any trickery. Draw out. I thought you were smart. Dr. Alpha. If you'd rather fight, I can throw down. I'm sure the hostages would love being in even more danger than before. Draw out sighs. Draw out sits down at the table. Fine. What game? Dr. Alpha holding a deck of cards in front of his face. A simple round of high-stakes Texas Hold'em. Draw out and Dr. Alpha look at their respective cards. Dr. Alpha. Girls, Joe, go check on the hostages. Yes, doctor, they say. Panel 2. All but one of the girls leaves. The last one serving as dealer. Draw out folding his cards. Folding on the first hand. Off to a rough start, are we? That is still young. Don't get too cocky. The girls are standing over tied up hostages, each getting ready for the heist. All right, girls. Just as the doctor planned. Draw out and Dr. Alpha game goes on. Draw out losing chips. An ashtray next to Dr. Alpha having his used niggers on it.
What? It still did it. God. The spell check system I used, if you misspell the word cigarette, it will replace it with another word that sounds like the N word. It's just
niggardly.
I don't. Oh gosh, it keeps doing.
Niggardly is not an inappropriate word to use.
I know it just sounds weird when said.
Yeah, it's his used cigarettes in it.
Yeah.
Narration: for hours they played, a constant struggle of calls, bluffs, and calls. Draw out has even fewer chips, trying to stay stoic. Dr. Alpha having even more chips, his ashtray more filled. Narrator: forever, ever, and every win in the cowboy hat, the doctor has two more. But poker is a patient game. Even the doctor can slip up, get cocky. Your last chip will be worth all your chips. Dr. Alpha smiling, playing with his chips. Well, how about your soul, relatively speaking? Be my gunman. Do my bidding. Drow glares at his gun. I call. The cards are flipped. Doctor having a straight flush. The draw having a royal flush. Bunny, but I rigged the cards just right. It's all right, Dr. Alpha said. I promised to go quietly. Dr. Alpha ducks under the table on the ceiling as the ceiling explodes, throwing himself over the dealer to protect her. But I'm also a liar. Kaboom! Dr. Alpha grabs a rope ladder, climbing to his escape. Draw out is coughing, still shielding the bunny girl with his own body. So long, cowboy. Doubt I will ever be seeing you again. Dr. Alpha making his escape with the rest of his bunny henchmen as the casino blows up in the background. There we go.
Yeah, that was the script that I was going to enter into Literature Devil's comic contest. But me and Zoe got so busy we were never able to finish it.
Well, I like it.
Yeah, I like it too, bro.
Yeah, I was wondering if there was a crossover.
Perhaps if Literature Devil does the comic entry again, or whatever this was for again in the next volume, you can
Yeah, you'll have something already ready to go.
yeah. And if you finish it between now and then, you won't have to do anything.
That's true. That's true. Zofrat, do you think I should still submit it? I mean, I got 2 days to try to transfer it into a prose work. It's, I'm not sure.
I believe in you, dude.
Yeah, so do I.
Semantic Dragon, submit your work for review.
Yeah.
Submit your work for review.
And Zofrat says, do it!
Don't let your dreams be dreams.
Oh god.
Do it!
Do it.
Do it.
Alrighty. Well, I gotta get going. I have something that I am obligated to do because there's a couple of people who dropped out of my mission prep teaching, so I have to fill in. So thank you all for coming. I have very much enjoyed having this writer's shout-out stream. Kind of sad Hex Harper wasn't able to come, but we will definitely be having one like this. Oh, Dr. Crow has died. Next, we'll have another one like this. Yeah. We'll have another one like this next week on Sunday, same time for an hour and a half. And I will be reading, for sure, another section of my book, Tempest of Shadows. And I hope that anybody else who wants to come on will be able to write some stuff. What? What?
Jeff's just laughing, having a good
Crow
time.
unplugged his computer
Oh,
with his foot.
Crow accidentally unplugged his computer with his
Oh. Oh
Not gonna lie, I've been there.
Thankfully, I don't have to worry about that problem.
no. Well, he got that back up fast, though. My computer would not be that speedy about rebooting.
Yeah, that is impressive, I have to say.
Yeah.
But thank you so much to Neph Champion, Drake the Duelist, Neph, and Blue. I very much appreciate having you guys on. Thank you to my lovely chat, Semantic Dragon, Dr. Crow, Zofrats, Chanthorpe, Market 3D, Charles Culkins, who's been in there, Dunkel San, and anybody else who was contributing to this stream. I greatly appreciate it. If you want to join my Discord, the link is in the description below. Oh, and also my Twitter and Patreon. If you donate $1, I'll be able to $1 a month. I'll be able to stream every almost as many times as I want. But this month, I'm going to be needing at least some kind of a donation of like just a tiny amount of money, just $1. If I can get like $1 from each of my subscribers, I can basically be able to fund the StreamYard's cost. But thank you very much. I very much appreciated all of you coming on. I'm joined by a bunch of really talented writers, and I hope to be able to help you guys to get more of your stuff out in the future. I look forward to seeing it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was really
Thank
fun.
you for thinking I'm talented.
Yeah, no problem. Does anybody have anything they would like to pimp before the end of the stream?
Not
My
really?
Twitter and my channel. That's about it.
Well, those are in the description below.
Yeah.
I'll
Yeah.
make sure to put that in. If there is anything that I can do to help, please don't fail to let me know. On Monday, I'm going to be chatting with our beloved Dr. Crow about his book and helping him out with that. Then on stream, and I'm excited for that one. And then on Tuesday at 1, we are going to be diving back into the mind of David Benioff, specifically how he thinks
For
that.
some reason.
I'm looking forward to that, actually.
Yeah, specifically the how he thinks that ambiguously brown women of uncertain ethnicity are hot.
Yeah.
And by dive, he means dragged, kicking and screaming.
Oh, you're gonna enjoy it just as much as everybody else.
I'm enjoying the chaos it causes.
Yes. Yes.
I want to see your reaction because I know that you'll be horrified. It's just like, how did this man get published? How has this man not been canceled?
Yes. Those are very good questions. I mean,
Alrighty.
I know it's who you know, not what you know, but there should be a limit to that even.
Yeah, it seems as though like he is one of the few people that cancel culture has not touched, either because he's too low profile or some whatever. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Do you mind if I do a like vaguely into the future pimp?
Oh, go for it.
Go for it.
Okay, so probably in about a week or so, I will be uploading my very first video onto YouTube. I want to do a series where I read fairy tales and draw pictures inspired by them at the same time. So, you know, something fun to draw along to if you guys are looking for relaxing content.
What's
And
your
yeah.
channel name?
It's literally just blue. So it'll probably be kind of...
I believe.
How did you secure that?
Literally just blue. That's not pulling you up.
It's not interesting. Okay, well,
No.
I will...
Sorry, Yokai, we're concluding right now. I have to leave. I'm very sorry.
What I'll do, my Twitter is @blueberry, spelled like bear the animal, because I thought I was funny. So @blueberry207, and when I post the YouTube video, I will link it there. You'll get all updates and stuff there.
Cool. I'm excited to see more of what you do. If anybody has any suggestions for topics to cover, videos they want us to take a look at, or topics related to writing, please post that in the suggestions for topics channel on my Discord server. Anyway, thank you very much. See you later.
Bye-bye.
Bye, guys.
Bye.